Invasive species are a serious threat to the native biodiversity of Australia. These species directly affect the animals and plants that the Aboriginal people use for food and medicine.
Pests, now there's a number of types of pests that create fairly big problems. Feral weeds like Parkinsonia and prickly acacia, if they're allowed to establish in any great numbers, they can create their own monoculture. Nothing else seems to grow around them, under them or near them. Eventually they take it out, anything growing with them dies out. The amount of growback that you'll find once you've sprayed for your woody weeds, the growback is noticeable pretty rapidly. A lot of your native trees start to flush, flower and grow quicker, and a lot of the younger trees spring up around them. And then when you get a wet season through, then they just seem to just double.
This here is a classic case now of what they call Gidgee thickening, and you see that the old people, this is why we like to burn country, especially around where Gidgee is, where you get the little tiny Gidgee saplings. So where we showed you before, there's a lot of grass, different varieties of grass, a lot of wildflower and all that. And you know, you would have seen grasshoppers and lots of little critters around, bird life. There would have been predators around, lots of roos and all that. But as a result of letting Gidgee go like this and not burning, then you create this little monoculture here. So there's nothing else growing except Gidgee, no grass whatsoever. You can see, oh, there's little bits of Buffle there by the looks. Good old Buffle will grow anywhere.
One of the things that's happening here that is not so good is the invasion of this Gidgee woodland by the buffle grass. It's a wonderful stock feed and it's done a great thing for our pastoral industry, but there's two problems with it, with having it in a Gidgee woodland like this. The first one you can see is that it becomes the dominant ground layer, and if you walk around here, it's very hard to find many remnants of the little seed bearing grasses that would have once been the main ground layer through this scrub. There's a few of them here close to the water hole, but generally it's probably 90% buffle grass. Now, there's two problems with that. One is that all our seed-eating species, particularly the little finches and small parrots like budgerigars, they rely on grass seeds for a major part of their diet. Now, they don't do very well on buffle grass. It's got quite a big furry seed coating, so their digestive system is just not developed to cope with that. And the other thing is it tends to all flower and seed at the one time, so you haven't got that diversity of plants right through the year that are bearing seed all year round that fits in with the life cycles of these species. So that's part of the problem. It causes a major disruption to the food resource for seed-eating birds and other species.
Pigs are another major destroyer of waterways. They absolutely destroy waterholes if they're allowed to occupy untouched. They just multiply. Good seasons and you've got hundreds of pigs, and the amount of damage that they can do has got to be seen to be believed. They just destroy acres and acres. They can do it in such a short amount of time, and they destroy the waterways, foul up the waterholes. Nothing else survives. The fish die, everything, nothing can survive in that water. They cut away the banks. The constant usage, erosion is just multiplied tenfold when if the numbers of pigs are high in any particular area, especially around water. They do an awesome amount of damage just by carving up the banks, and they plough paddocks. They absolutely plough paddocks.
Such as the overabundance of crayfishes down our end of the way, the water's become real muddy. Other rivers, this river upstream is much more clearer where there isn't any crayfishes, and we don't want anything to over erode that precious water system that we have. It'd take us all day to catch one yabby now. You can catch thousands in a day. Things like this impact our floras, our fauna, and everybody that visits our sites and that along the river.
Buffle.